Over the cries of a child, one exhausted doctor pleads in English. Desperate has been one word used to describe the situation for civilians in Eastern Ghouta. Alone might be another. Despite a number of measures to try and get aid through to the besieged people, the fighting has continued and regime attacks have intensified. Here in Lebanon, it's a different UN convoy that's on the ground. At the moment, we're tracking the UN convoy. They're travelling around various areas in Lebanon, looking at the refugee situation, but one of the UN chiefs is actually part of the convoy. It might be all smiles here at this part UN-funded programme, but the war is never far away. Just 20 years old, this student's originally from Deraa, the area in Syria where the uprising began 7 years ago. With the UN's help, he's developed a cheap heater that can be used by Syrians living in refugee camps.
My parents are living in Damascus. The situation is very bad. I want them to come here to Lebanon, but they cannot.
We spoke to the UN High Commissioner about the aid not reaching Syria. What would you say to people who are saying that the UN's failed to protect civilians in Syria?
I think what has failed in Syria spectacularly is political action to stop the war. This is what has failed. Humanitarian workers from the Red Crescent to NGOs to UN organizations have done their best to take every single little space that was allowed in the middle of this war for the last 7 years. So this is not a humanitarian failure, this is a political failure.
So the regime blames the fighters on the ground in Eastern Ghouta. The UN blames the politicians blame the regime. A vicious cycle we've seen played out before in Homs, Aleppo, and many other places across Syria. A people besieged and dying, but no one is coming to help. Sara, Firth, TRT World, Lebanon.